Good evening, everybody. Today's topic: smoke photography at home. I specifically wanted it to be at home because most of the places in India are now locked down. So again, we are back into the home territory, and uh, it's one of those projects which is easy to do, and I think it's worthwhile. Before I show some photos of the smoke for photography and how you do it, this is the setup. So basically, you can use any camera as possible. Any camera will do. No specific camera requirement. You can do it with crop camera or full frame camera. The lenses you not find that range lenses. It need not be fast lens. 50 mm is just enough. If you have a macro lens, that also is fine. So this is the particular diagram of the whole setup. How to capture smoke photography. One requirement is a dark room. So preferably this is done at night, so you don't have much of a disturbance. So make sure that sunlight doesn't come and disturb your whole setup. So in the night you don't have such problems. Now, preferably a black background. A black background will make the smoke really stand out. Now, this is the setup what I've done. Since I couldn't show you live, the reason is simple. This requires a dark background, and that will make whole setup messy, and I won't be able to show you exactly the details as well as the outcome. Yeah, all I can show you is the setup. So this is how it is. A camera on a tripod is fine, or handheld. If you don't have a tripod, no, not to worry. Okay, what you require is a flash. Then you require one small table lamp. I'll tell you why you need a small table lamp. Any table lamp will do. It need not be bright. It can be just a night lamp or a table lamp, or even one of those 15-watt bulbs. Uh, that is fine. If you have a brighter lamp, don't use it. You need to have a lamp which is just just bright enough. Then you need a flash, okay, and you need a place to flash. You can keep it on a table, or you have a tripod, or you have a light stand. You can keep that flash. That is in a fixed position. Now this is the setup. So about a feet away from the camera is the table lamp. Another feet away on the other side is the flash. It can be in the right or the left, doesn't matter. I'll talk about this gobo, what it is. Then this is the measurement what I did in my setup. So a small room is fine, about 3 to 4 feet room. That's good enough for this particular purpose. If you have a larger room, then no problem. But extremely small room, the problem what happens is your background comes into focus. So it's better to have a room where the background is far away, so it won't be coming into focus, but it will still work perfectly. Okay, this is what we call as a gobo. These are basically two dark cardboard pieces. So one on each side of the flash. Now this side of the flash, that is towards the background, prevents the flash falling on the background and lighting it. So that is the advantage of this particular gobo. So if you don't have gobo, all you need to do is take a black cardboard sheet, turn it into a sort of a snoot, that is, turn it into a round cylinder, and just put it on the flash. That also is perfectly fine. Okay, to create smoke, you don't need a smoking machine. Okay, here what we are using is an incense sticks. You get it in the shop. Any incense stick is fine. Most of them work for about say 20 to 25 minutes. Some of them are long lasting, like 45 minutes they'll burn. So you have plenty of time with just one incense stick. Now, the thicker the incense stick, what you get, thicker the smoke. Thinner the stick, thinner the smoke. and then get one of those where you can tolerate the smell, because after some time the whole room will be filled with the smoke. So if you are not comfortable sort of smoke, you may have problem. So you find out, which particular incense stick works fine. Now if you have a smoker and he thinks that he can give his cigarette or want to use a cigarette, please don't do that, because one thing is cigarette smoke is not as dense as the incense stick smoke. So you won't get these sort of patterns with the cigarette smoke. Okay, you can create those rings and other things which most people blow, but after some time you get really this. And plus the smell. If you are not a smoker, don't go into cigarette or any other smoke. They are injurious to health. Even incense smoke at a larger quantity will be injurious to health. So if you have any allergy to these smokes and all, be careful. And remember one more thing, keep a bucket of water. You are playing with fire. So in case if there is a fire, you don't have to run out. Just keep a bucket of water so that you can just extinguish that fire. So taking all those safety precautions, let's go into how these smokes start looking. So now, before that, let me explain this table lamp. Now, let's assume that you are holding a camera in your hand and clicking it. Ideally, that is a better method than keeping it on the tripod. The smoke which comes out of the incense stick keeps on moving, and if there is no wind blowing, you don't keep the window open. The room should be dark, so everything should be shut. The door should be shut, the window should be shut, everything should be shut. So there is no really wind flowing. The smoke really goes out straight away. So what happens is, it's pretty bland. Sometimes you get patterns, but sometimes you don't. So many a times you have to, shake a little bit your hands to get the patterns. And the patterns what you get is something like this. So this is actually, as you capture it, they are bluish because I didn't do any adjustment. The camera captures it as a bluish shade. So white balance adjustment is required later to get whatever color you want, or you can convert it to the black and white. Then it's fine. You get the color what you want. And then the smoke itself creates patterns, and those patterns are really mesmerizing. So, and in one session, you'll be able to take nearly about 400 to 500 shots. And out of that, every day you may be able to get at least about 20 to 30 good patterns in the picture. Once you have these patterns, start using them, take them to Photoshop, and that's all. That's all the whole smoke photography is. So let me show you a few of the pictures which I took from the smoke photography. This was one session. I was using, this is long time back. I had used a 70D camera on a 100mm lens. One flash, Yongnuo flash I had a trigger, Yongnuo trigger. So either you have a wire to the flash, because see, the flash is not mounted on the camera. If you see the picture, the flash is away from the camera exactly at 90 degrees. Okay, this table lamp is required to focus on the smoke, because what happens is the smoke will not be in the exactly same place. It will start moving from one end to other end. It comes closer to the camera or it goes away from the camera depending on the breeze of wind there. So you should be able to focus on the smoke, and it is not possible to focus on the smoke without this table lamp. So this table lamp basically helps you to focus on the smoke. Fortunately, since the power of this table lamp is very less bright, dull, so the smoke really will get lightened, and you can see it through the viewfinder, but your camera will not see it, because the settings what you are keeping in the camera are not really going to change anything. So the settings what I kept in the camera are f8, ISO 100, and f125, shutter speed 125th of a second. So with that setting, 125th of a second, ISO 100, and f8, this table lamp, whatever light it's putting, is not visible. You can try it out without the smoke. First, just put the table lamp, try to take a photograph. You'll get a totally black background. Then put the flash. Again, you'll get a black background. And when you have a smoke, only the smoke gets lit up by the flash. So the smoke is the one which gets lit up by this flash if you have the gobo. So ideally, before you start the smoke, what you do is take a photograph of the whole setup. You should see a total pitch black, dark picture. Absolutely nothing should be there. So that is a ideal situation where you will find, okay, now when I introduce smoke, only the smoke will be visible. So let me go to that next page. So you'll start seeing pictures like something like, human figures. This looks like a lady. Then if you take it to the Photoshop, you can invert the colors. So here what I did was I converted the black to white and white to black. And then you can also change the hues. So that smoke can be, it can be blue, it can be purple, it can be red. And you can combine many of these smoke images as a layers. It's very easy to blend these layers because once they are in white background, the blending layers is pretty easy. So let us see the patterns which you get. Think something like this. Looks like some strange alien object, or something like multiple octopuses which are floating. You can also see a dancing figure, an alien talking to something else. So the designs keep on changing, and you can slightly move your hands so that the patterns keep on changing. If you don't do that, your smoke will be quite straight. Now if you rotate, if you start spiraling, create a spiral out of that, the smoke also spirals, so you get these spiral images. You can also shake that incense stick, and then you see a sort of an alien chasing another alien. Now this is what happens when you allow air to completely settle down. So this was a thicker incense stick, and it just started going upwards without any draft. So when you have a draft, it starts moving like this. And when you create various vertices, it will be like these designs. Again, you can take it to Photoshop, alter the background. It's pretty easy. Just go into adjustment and then invert colors. So the white becomes black, black becomes white. And then you can change the hues. If you're only working in Lightroom, you can also try just changing the white balance. By changing the white balance, you'll get a different hues and saturations. So you can get these pretty easily. You get mushrooms, you get things like this, and the designs, and so on. I have written a blog article long back using these same images. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. And this is the web page where you can go and check it out. Whatever I have talked today is written down there, and with all the details. All these pictures are not there. Few of them are there. You can check it out, and detailed material is there, exactly step by step. So let me go to the chat and see the questions what we have. Set the camera exit setting. As I said, it is f8. You can go to f8 or f11. Both these apertures are fine. Don't keep very shallow aperture. What happens is your smoke will start looking blurry. Smoke should be sharp. it should separate from the background. The background should not be visible in your camera. So depth of field depends on that. So you can change your aperture in such a way that only the smoke is visible, background is not visible. So if you are in a small room, you can go for f8. If you are in a large room, you can go for f11. And how far away the smoke is from your camera. In this case, I was using a macro lens. That's why the smoke was pretty close. If you are not using a macro lens, if you are using a normal lens, think of keeping the incense stick at around 2 to 3 feet away so that you can see the smoke and you can focus it clearly. One of the easiest way of focusing is, instead of going for the smoke for focus initially, go for the incense stick which is burning, which you can easily see the fire in the incense stick. You can focus that, and then all you need is a small focus forward and backward as the smoke is moving. So if you are keeping your camera on a tripod, you focus to the incense stick and then keep a deep depth of field. So even if the smoke moves forward and backward, it still be able to capture it. If you're holding it handheld, then you need that table lamp. If you don't hold it handheld, if you are keeping it fixed on a tripod, then you can just concentrate on the incense stick and then take the same plane up and then try to get the smoke. I think I'm clear at that. ISO 100. So since you have a flash, and then you adjust the flash power so that you don't get smoke overexposed or underexposed. Make sure that the flash power is enough so that the smoke looks clean in the picture. When you get an overexposed picture of the smoke, what happens is the smoke will look totally white. You don't get the grayish details. So underexposed smoke, you hardly get any details. Only the brightest portion are visible. Venkat, is it fine? Also the lens used. The lens is any lens is fine. In this case, I had used 70D with the 100mm lens. You can use 50mm lens, perfectly fine. 24 to 105, that range. It's like, think of any portrait photography. Don't go for a too wide angle focal length. Because what happens is your smoke will be very, very small in the picture. So try to go for something which is quite normal, our visual field, that lens. So normal lens 50mm, 85mm is fine, 100mm is fine, 120, 135, that range is fine. Don't go for tele. Again, you have a shallow depth of field, so you might get images where some amount of smoke is in focus and some which are out of focus. No filters. When you're capturing, you don't need filters. But later you can put it in Photoshop. I think Girish had shared one of the pictures, which are symmetrical 4 pictures. Basically, what he did was he shot the picture, then put 4 pictures. One of them rotated in 180 degrees, another rotated clockwise 90 degrees, another rotated clockwise 90 degrees. So all 4 of them together, they look like a sort of a mandala-like pictures. And you can change the colors of each one of them by using brush. So or just changing the hues of that particular color. So you can have multiple colors. Normally the smoke itself is colorless, but you can create a colored structure very nicely. Girish, this question, have you tried combining smoke with other objects? I have not tried it, but you can combine it. In this case, this setup, you can combine it. You need one more light on that particular object. So you have an object, you have a smoke next to that. So your one light which is falling on that particular object, it can be a flash. Again, create a snoot so that the light only falls on that object, so only lights that object. The idea is not to allow the light to fall on the background and create a disturbance. So your background has to be black. So I'll again go back to the picture. Let me show. If you see the overall background, this black background should remain black background. So if you have a object, you can create suppose, let's say that you want to have an object. Let's say that this table lamp I want to show, or you keep object here and I want it to be shown. Have a separate flash which is just lighting this particular object, and again you create a gombo so that that light doesn't fall on this particular background. So you can have a flash here which is just lighting that particular object, and you can have a smoke here. So that will perfectly work with that particular setup. Is that fine, Krish? Any questions? Used filter for artistic filters. No, I don't think using filters will really help you much. 1855 is perfectly fine. 50 mm prime is perfectly fine. Yes, because those lenses are fine. 1855 on a cropped camera is fine, and 50 mm on cropped or full frame is fine. 18 to 55 on a full frame camera. Most of these full frame cameras don't get that 18 to 55 type of lenses. Usually their range starts from 24 to 70 or 85, that range. Auto white balance, spot metering is perfectly fine. Yeah, auto white balance is fine. Spot metering, no, you can't meter this. There is no way you can meter it because you're using a flash as your light source. So that way, spot metering is not really required. You go for a manual setting, put all the settings. That is shutter speed. In this case, 125 is just fine. Don't keep a shutter speed which is faster than the flash sync speed. Flash has a sync speed. If you are a Canon user, sync speed is around 200. And if you are a Nikon or a Olympus user or a Panasonic user, it's 250. So don't keep it faster than 250. 1 by 250th of a second. 1 by 125 is universal. You can keep it at that particular. ISO, since you are controlling the light, no need to go for a higher ISO. Don't keep it at 1600 ISO, because what happens is your black background will start becoming lighter. Instead of dark black, which you need, it becomes start becoming lighter. So that's why that's not really ideal. This thing. ISO 100 is perfectly fine. Then aperture, you are controlling only to get the depth of field. So in this case, the depth of field, what you need is adequate depth of field. F8 is fine. So ISO 100, 1 by 125th of a second, and F8. So that's perfectly. You can't use a built-in flash for this. The reason is simple. Again, yeah, if I go back to that particular picture, see this. The built-in flash will be here. You can't pluck out that built-in flash and keep it here. So let me go for the annotate. You may not be able to see the picture. Built-in flash is part of the camera, so you can't pluck it out. You need a flash which is 90° to the camera, exactly 90° to the camera. So you need external flash for this. If you don't have it, rent it out, borrow it, steal it from somebody, and then you need to have a way of connecting this particular flash. Okay, if you don't have a trigger, then what you can do is you can use this particular inbuilt flash and use that to trigger this particular flash. So that is possible. In my case, what I did was I used a radio trigger. I had a trigger on my camera, and the flash was getting triggered by that particular radio trigger. You can also have a wire triggers, which basically takes the wire from here to here, from your hot shoe to the hot shoe of the flash. So that's basically the full setup. So because built-in flash is not possible. For the smoke photography, you need external flash. And you can't use a LED lights, you can't use any other stationary lights. You need something which is fast, which freezes the subject. Flash can be, you start off, usually I start off at about 1 by 16th of a second. 1 by 16 power, not 1 by 64. It is too low power. So later you bring it out, and most of the time in this particular case, it's 1 by 4 power, 1 by 4 power. So you start off from somewhere. You start off by 1 by 32. See how the result comes. If a image is underexposed, then you raise the power of the flash. If it is overexposed, reduce the power of the flash. You can use color papers. What happens when you use the color gels in front of the flash? So your smoke itself gets colored. Your background can be changed in Photoshop to white. Black is fine. You can also make it into white. So that's for that you need to go to Photoshop. If you don't want, you can definitely use color gels, and you can you need not go to Photoshop at all. You can play around with the hue saturation adjustment in Lightroom. With that, you can get pretty good color changes, which is not possible with the gel, because gel is fixed colors. So whatever colors you have, they are fixed with the gel. Unless you have multiple different colored gels, you can keep it in front. Okay, in this case, I was using a 100 lens. So the question is, why 30 centimeters distance between the subject and the flash? I was using a macro lens, and I was trying to get a larger picture of the smoke than a wider picture. So that's why I was pretty close. And since I had a macro lens, I could focus at 30 centimeters. If you don't have a macro lens, still you will be able to focus at 30 centimeters. Most of this thing after not 30 centimeters, 60 centimeters. So don't take that particular distance guide as a guide for everyone. For a macro lens, if you have a macro lens, then the 60-70 will work. If you have non-macro lens, you have to go slightly behind. Is that fine? Okay, now the question is, if you want to have a portrait with the smoke effect, can we use the same setting? You can use it, but the person whose portrait you are taking won't look flattering. The problem is your whole setup is dark, and you're capturing the smoke with that. And again, you need to have a separate flash for the subject. Again, cover it with the gobo. So just light the subject. Now, what really happens with that particular setup is that he will not look good enough to be a portrait. He looks like some ghost who has come out of dark background. So this smoke can be used in Photoshop as your background smoke effect, but not in a live shoot. So you can use this smoke effect, lighten it, and use it as a smoke effect in the background. But in a single shoot with the camera, with the same setup, you want to capture the portrait, no, it won't come pretty nice. If you get a good portrait, you won't get the good smoke photography. If you get a good smoke photography, you won't get good portrait. So that's the challenge what you'll be having. So for a portrait, I think you need to have a smoke, which is that smoking machines are there, which they use in the stage. You might have seen it's a smoking machine, which basically it's like a fogging machine. It creates a smoke. So that smoke, along with the portrait, that is quite good. For intensity smoke photography, I think it's better to create the smoke and then add it in Photoshop later. So Nandagopal is asking, could you please suggest which flash to buy? I own a 70D and plan to graduate for a full frame. Now, for a full frame camera as well as crop frame cameras, the flash is identical. And in fact, nowadays, you have only one choice. No need to buy any of the flashes from the company. For example, if you have a Canon or a Nikon or a Olympus or a Sony or something, there is no need to go to these company flashes. The reason is simple: they are expensive. They don't provide you with enough features as these third party flash manufacturers give. What I suggest is a flash from Godox. There are these flashes. I have one here right in front. So this is the Godox 860. So 862, that's a flash. This comes with various company. This thing, mine is a Sony. So if you have a Canon, it is called a C 862C. So if it is Sony 862 Roman 2, and then yes for Sony. If it is Nikon, the last is N. If it is Panasonic or Olympus, it's O. If it's Fuji, if it's F. So I suggest, depending on your budget, you can go for a low budget flash. In this, there is a TT 600 flash is there. So that flash is good for beginners. It uses the 4 AA cells, rechargeable 4 AA cells. Antelope cells are there. And this uses a lithium ion batteries. So this is a battery similar to that of that what you get with the camera, similar to that. So these are rechargeable batteries. So the advantage of these rechargeable batteries is that they discharge and recharge fast. As soon as you take a photograph, it's faster than AA cells, but they are expensive. This will cost you around between about 10 to 11,000, whereas TT 600 is around between 5 to 6,000. Features the same, not much different. These are light stands is what I use. The regular light stands. You can use any different stands for holding flash. You get what is called a B bracket on top of the light stand. So light stand on top of that B bracket. B bracket has a slot where this hot shoe goes in. The hot shoe goes into that particular slot, and then you can use it. Or every flash comes with a plastic uh, mount. So that mount has a tripod screw underneath. So you can use a spare tripod if you have. You can fit that particular foot to a spare tripod. On top of that, you can keep this flash.
No question, sir, because unless we try, we'll not come to know where we're getting.
Okay, okay. I think I can give some home assignments.
Yeah,
So why
I
don't you
can.
guys? Why don't you guys try this? It's pretty easy. And it doesn't require much of a this thing, equipment, because during lockdown getting stuff itself is difficult. That's one. The second thing is you won't be able to go out to do some shoots. So this can be done at home. All you need is a black background. So you can use your raincoat, you can use the umbrella, regular umbrella as your background. So anything black is fine. So if you have a flash, if you have a camera, then I think most of your uh, uh, products are already there for you to do the photograph of incense sticks. Tried more than one source of light smoke. Yes, I have tried several different smoke sources. I don't have a photograph now, just created now. Uh, Especially, I tried with 3 different sources, but it created a mess in the end. The reason was um, each smoke was going in different directions, and I was not able to control it. So ideally, what I do is take one of them and then use them as layers and then create multiple pictures. Flashes have built-in triggers inside, but you need to have a separate trigger. Um, Let me show you the trigger. Just hold on. Okay. this is the trigger what I'm using. In fact, I'm doing a sort of a jugaad. I don't have a Olympus flash. So I have a trigger which is made for Olympus, which goes on to the Olympus camera. So this goes on the camera. So this is a wireless trigger. So this in turn triggers the flash. So I can have a flash somewhere away, it still triggers. So this need not be in a line of sight also. It can be outside the room. Still, it will trigger the flash. So both of them can talk to each other, and it can be any company as such. Sorry, not company. Any model of the camera. For example, I have a flash which is Sony built, and trigger which is Olympus built. But still, they can talk to each other because it's all made by the same company, Godox. I recommend Godox. The reason is they are innovative, they are cheap, they are reliable. So those three aspects you don't get in many of the Chinese products.
If you're using the gobo on the flash, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear. Yes.
So that is to ensure that there is no light on the background, right?
Correct. The light should not fall on the background because then your black background will not be black.
Correct. Okay.
It will start becoming gray. So you should avoid getting the flash light falling on the background. That's the main idea. Plus, it also should not fall on the camera because you'll get a flare.
Correct.
So that's why you have a gobo on both sides.
Understood.
Good evening, Doctor. We also in the Rotary we have this International Fellowship of Rotarian Photographers. So I had shared your invite to our group as well. So
Okay. Okay, great.
On your behalf, I'm welcoming all of them to this thing, and we will have more participation in your sessions.
Sure. If they had missed, I have a recording of this, so I'll be putting it. You can send them the recording.
Sure, sir.
Shiva is asking, can you please share the setup slide again? Okay, here it is. 1 minute. Yeah, this is the setup slide. So that's a black background. Forget about these distances. That distance is not relevant. This is the distance what I used in my setup because I was using a macro lens. If you don't have a macro lens, then this close focusing will be difficult. You'll be slightly far off, and make sure that these two are important: the flash as well as the cards. There, these are plain dark cards, dark cardboard pieces. If you don't get it, get one roll of dark sheet. Just roll it around the flash and convert it into a sort of what we call as a snoot. The incense, one advantage is it will keep on smoking for a very long time. So that way you have plenty of time to test it out, get results, look back at the screen, chimp, and then find out whether you got it correctly or not. You can again try it out. Keep on trying. So all you need is a pack of incense, one matchstick to light it up, and that's it.
Can we use this? There's one more particular item which smokes. It's basically called hookah coke. Use this for hookah.
Yeah. But the problem with that is the amount of smoke which comes out is broader. Mm-hmm. So when you have broader, you don't get these very fine detailed pictures.
Okay.
So you get smoke, but that's not what we are after. We are basically after those designs which come out.
Understood.
So I think we'll call it.
Thanks, Doctor. I think
I think
we learned something new.
Yeah, you can always go to my website where I'll again put my website design. Sorry. So that's a web page where all these details are there, including the picture of the setup. Everything is there, and what all is required. Everything is there in the. So you just go through that. Art of smoke photography. So
thank you, Doctor, for sharing generously all your skills and hard work that you put in, and you are very generous with your knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Shall we close it, sir?
Yeah, close it.
Thank you.
Thank you.